Internet, Eric here. Tonight's video is it worth the hate? If you don't know what that is it worth the hate is a category here on this channel where I take a film that I haven't seen, or it's a film that maybe I've seen once and I don't remember anything about it. And it's a film that has been panned by critics, panned by viewers, panned by both, and I sit down and I see, is it worth all the shit talk? In my opinion. And I mean, I've done Fantastic Four, the newest one with Michael B. Jordan. I sat and watched the Amy Schumer Leather special. Yeah. There's a whole playlist, like all my stuff. And if you have been watching my channel, or if you're new and you don't know, I've been slowly going back and reviewing the Leprechaun series to prepare for the new one that just came out a couple weeks ago. So today, I sat down and now I'm going to sit. I sat down and watched, and now I'm going to sit and talk to you guys and see if Leprechaun Origins is worth the hate. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I discuss plot spoilers, specific things, specific scenes, what have you. So watch at your own risk. Okay, this came out in 2014, I believe. And I did a very, very little bit of research just to see. Yeah, 2014. A little bit of research. I've heard fans call it an abomination, an abortion, pure garbage. I know it. I've seen some critics give it like a 1.5 out of 10. I know on Rotten Tomatoes, which I don't give two shits about, the critics have it at a 0%, and fans have it at a 10%. So, yeah. Now, basic plot of Leprechaun Origins is it's a total reboot of the series. No Warwick Davis, no previous characters or anything to do with that stuff. We are following two couples. They're backpacking through Ireland, and they are picked up by a truck driver. They're hitchhiking and taking them to town. He stops at a certain spot. He won't go past this gigantic stone that's in the middle of the fucking field. So they hike to this bar, and they're talking about what they want to do, and one of the locals hears their story and says, oh, well, you guys need to go see whatever this thing is. I'm not going to be able to pronounce it. It's like another tourist attraction or what have you that, of course, isn't in the books. So they decide to do that. They find out it's like a 7-hour hike. He says, oh, well, you can go to this cabin, rest for the night, and get started in the morning, what have you. So they take them to the cabin, and red flag number 1, the cabin door has a deadbolt on the outside. But they go in there, they hang out. Eventually, they are stalked and have to survive the night while being attacked by this little demonic creature. All right. Wow. We will talk about the characters. First off, let's talk about the 4 protagonists, what have you. We got Brendan Fletcher. He's the only one who I recognized. I ripped him a new asshole pretty much in my review. My wife did too, in our review of Freddy vs. Jason, where he is just god-awful. Here, he's actually pretty good. He's very likable. He's the one with the short hair. He's the one, he wants everybody to have a good time. And he's not overkill with like the hey dude let's party type of stuff, but you can tell he's the fun one. He's the one always there wanting people to have a beer and to calm down and just have a good time. So likable. His girlfriend, and then the other two they don't really have too much of a personality, but they're not dislikable. You don't want them to die right away. You want them to get away. You're actually rooting for them to not get killed, I would guess. So overall, they're decent. They're fine. The old dude, the guy that took him there, I don't know his fucking name. Seamus, whatever Irish name you can think of. I liked him a lot because he did a really good job making it seem like he's the friendly local, but you knew he had something cooking in the back of his head. And he does a great job because the backstory to this is the village was a mining town. And in a cave it found some gold that belonged to this leprechaun creature, which I'll get into. And they stole the gold and never gave the gold back, but to, I guess, appease this creature, they have to sacrifice people to it until the debt is repaid. Some shit like that. I like how this actor does a good job of making it seem like he's doing what is right. He doesn't want these people to die, but he's doing it to save the village, to keep this creature away from everybody. And I like his conflict with his son. His son is solely against this. He never wants to help his dad sacrifice anybody. And they have a good conflict. There's a really great scene between the two of them where the dad is telling the son what to do, and by the end they have guns pointed at each other, and just really good conflict. So the characters in this, overall, I enjoy. Let's get to the Leprechaun. Yeah, I mentioned Brendan Fletcher. He's the only one I recognize. The other name in this film is Dylan Postel, also known as Hornswoggle, if you are a WWE fan. And he's a dwarf. I don't know how tall he is. He's maybe under 4 foot. He plays the Leprechaun. And first off, he looks nothing like Warwick Davis, so realize that. I think that's where a lot of the hate comes from, because he doesn't look like the Leprechaun. He doesn't look like a stereotypical Leprechaun at all. He doesn't have the green fucking hat and the boots and the belt buckle and all that stuff. He doesn't have an Irish accent. I like this Leprechaun. I like how it's a creature of that's been living in a fucking cave for however many years or decades or millennia. Now anybody could have played this, because the makeup effects, I watched some of the special effects. His whole body is covered, and he looked kind of like the offspring of, say, the cave creatures from The Descent, and that episode of Tales from the Crypt with Steven Weber and the ghouls. Like, when the ghouls take off their makeup, they got the teeth and stuff like that. Like, if those two creatures had a baby, out would pop this Leprechaun. I like the look of it when you could see it, because for the first half of this movie, it's just in the shadows. It's just, quick cuts here and there, and then finally by the end of it, you get to see more of it. I really enjoy it. I like I like how it's not a leprechaun. It is more of this demonic creature. And I did a little bit of research, Wikipedia. They call this creature by a certain name. It's an old Irish name. And I clicked on that, and it is a mythological creature in Irish folklore. So they kind of did their own research when they were writing this film. So I liked that. I liked how they pulled from folklore to make it scary or whatever, but make it more realistic. I don't know, but I like how they did this to just make this movie their own. I like the way the leprechaun walks, because it kind of like, if you've seen my review of Rumpelstiltskin, I don't know how tall the actor who played Rumpelstiltskin, but he kind of walks with his legs bent. They're hunched. And Hornswoggle is really, really short, but so they have the legs, like they have prosthetics sticking off of his legs, so they shoot out at an angle, so it looks like he's kind of walking with his knees bent. Looked really good. Makes it look creepy. The leprechaun doesn't talk. It's literally a creature. There's no one-liners. It's just guttural snarls and stuff like that. So I really liked this leprechaun. I liked the new take on it. I liked how, if you go to Wikipedia, if you want to, like I did, it's got some connection to supposed Irish folklore that the leprechaun that we all know is somewhat connected to. So there's some more bonuses. I like some of the gore. As low budget as this is, I like some of the gore. Brendan Fletcher, when he finally gets it, first off, he gets bit early by the leprechaun in one of the scenes where they're running from it. And so he's running with a limp, and very briefly every now and then you see close-ups of his wound, and it's a nice little gash on his leg. Eventually they're caught by, I'm just going to call him Seamus, I don't know his fucking name. Seamus, Ian, something like that. and they're gonna be sacrificed again, and they're all tied to the tree, or each individual kid person is tied to a tree, and the leprechaun's gonna come kill them, do what he's got to do, and Brendan Fletcher is swiped in the gut, and there's this nice little four gashes in his belly, which looks really nice. The gore is decent for the most part. And this was a great camera shot. Like, it's one of those camera shots. Who's the director? What is it? Zach Lipovsky. Okay, they're in the dark, and they're in the living room of this house that they're staying in, and what the fuck is his name? Brendan Fletcher, his girl. She's sitting down by the fireplace, and it's just perfect shot. You know the leprechaun's coming out of the fucking fireplace because she's sitting to the far right, and the camera's focusing on that fucking fireplace. So it's the anticipation. You're waiting for it to come out, and then suddenly the camera focuses on her gold earring. So you're just waiting. When's that leprechaun gonna take her ear? When's the leprechaun gonna take her ear? And it comes out, it darts, it grabs it, and it yanks down on that fucker, and it's just a good ooh moment. And then that poor girl. First off, Brendan Fletcher gets his ass kicked. I told you how he dies. That poor girl. You don't realize it earlier, but there's a little bit of foreshadowing when they're all partying at the bar, and she's playing around. She sticks her tongue out at Brendan Fletcher, and she's got a tongue ring. Well, the leprechaun gets a hold of the tongue ring and yanks that fucking thing out, and that's another ooh moment. Really enjoyed that. There is a surprise death that I didn't see coming with an axe. Was really, really good. Someone does get their spine ripped out, which kind of looked a little fake, but it was in the dark, so I kind of let that slide a little bit. I liked the way the leprechaun was taken out. That looked nice. Overall, the gore is decent. What else can I talk about? I liked how we have leprechaun vision. I think they just got the idea from the Predator. The leprechaun kind of sees, I guess, in heat vision. Maybe because it's lived in a fucking cave for all of its life. It's not necessarily the infrared that the Predator has, but I don't know. I didn't know it was heat vision in the beginning. I liked the way that the color tone looked. But then you see that it sees a handprint from the girl that it's looking for the heat mark from like her touching that as she just ran into her hiding spot. So that makes me see how it sees heat. But again, it makes sense because the thing's probably fucking blind, living in a cave for so long. So I like that idea. There's some intense scenes that I really enjoy. I loved the scene where the main girl and her boyfriend are in the pickup truck, and they're driving, and the leprechaun is on top of the damn thing, and it's bashing on top of the windshield and on top of the roof, and you see the indentations of the roof. Really good, intense action sequences. When they're running from the fucking thing in the house and they're hiding from it, and I like the action in this. I don't get it. Sorry, is Leprechaun Origins worth the hate? In my opinion, no. I don't see what the big deal is. I don't see the main problems. I don't get it. Maybe it's because people were expecting Warwick Davis. Maybe they were expecting, a leprechaun, that talked, that wisecracked. Now, granted, maybe they wanted a leprechaun that looked like a fucking leprechaun and not like this little, cave creature. I don't get it. I think people were going in with expectations. I said this before. Leprechaun Origins is like the Halloween 3 of the franchise. People didn't like the change. Halloween 3 I've defended on this channel, and it was going to be an anthology series. They killed Michael off in part 2. They had Halloween 3, which I thought was great, but people hated it because it was different. There was no Michael Myers. People were like, where's Michael Myers at? So part 4 comes back with Michael Myers, and they even called it the Return of Michael Myers. Well, Leprechaun Origins, I think they were expecting a prequel to the Warwick Davis stuff, and then they realized there's no Warwick Davis. The leprechaun doesn't fucking talk. The leprechaun doesn't look like a leprechaun. So they just shit all over it, and they were going in with, being pissed off to begin with and not giving it a fair chance. Because yes, I will say this: it shouldn't be called Leprechaun Origins because we don't. There's no origin story to begin with. Um, like Halloween 3, if they would have just called it Season of the Witch instead of Halloween 3, or called it anything instead of Halloween 3, I think it wouldn't have gotten shit on as much. If they would have called this something else other than Leprechaun Origins, people wouldn't associate it with the Warwick Davis stuff. Maybe giving it a fair shot. I don't know what else to say, man. I enjoyed this. It's not a fantastic. It's a quick 90 minutes. I was captivated. Well, captivated. My eyes were staying on the screen. I was never bored. It's a typical horror movie where a group of people are stuck in a location trying to get away from a killer, and this just happens to be like a little cave troll or whatever the fuck it is. I don't know what to say, man. Leprechaun Origins, not worth the hate. I enjoyed it. If it was 3 out of 5 on Netflix, or Rotten Tomatoes, I'm gonna give it a 3. You know what? Fuck it. I might go on Rotten Tomatoes and just give it a 3-star rating just so I could bump up to 11% because it doesn't deserve 10%. No, fuck that. Leprechaun Origins, definitely not worth the hate. Likable characters for the most part. I love the conflict between, like I said, I'll call him Seamus and his son, doing what's right in their point of views. I like the look of the leprechaun, how it's just this creature instead of this wisecracking asshole, which I still love Warwick Davis, but still I like that. I like how I found out that it was tied into mythology. I like how this little thing where, I guess I'm gonna call him Seamus, how Seamus was baiting them as the sacrifice, because you don't see them lock the door as like he's letting the backpacker stay there. He did, but he's baiting them because the leprechaun wants gold. He's got a Rolex on his wrist that's brought up earlier in the conversation. He just hangs it on the porch so the leprechaun will come and do what he's got to do. So I like that. And I mentioned the big Stonehenge type looking rock. It's just a thing with some carvings where the leprechaun can't pass, because of that. So that's all that is. I'm going back to that. But yeah, overall, Leprechaun Origins, I enjoyed it. I don't get it. It's not an abomination. It's not an abortion. It's not, the worst horror movie that everybody's fucking seen. Don't get it. So yeah, that's it. Leprechaun Origins. Check it out. Open mind. Don't even think about Warwick Davis at all. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment below, click the bell, share, whatever the fuck you guys want to do. Don't. That's okay. Tell me how wrong I am, because I'm sure people are going to be like, oh, dude, you watched a different movie than me. Nope. Watch the same movie. Yeah, so finally done with all the Leprechaun movies, except for this new one. I'm going to try to get a couple Christmas movies back in before the holiday. And then I might go back to the Child's Play series or the Ninja Turtle series, or talk about a celebrity who the fuck I know. What the fuck do I know? Anyways, I just want to say thank you for watching. Cheers, and fuck you, Lucky Charms. Yes, they did throw that in there as a nod to the first one, and I loved it.